Hey YouTube, it's Erin and I am the Handbag Housewife and I'm back again with another video. Today's video is going to be a head-to-head comparison between the medium large Chanel Classic Flap and the Dior Caro bag. I just unboxed this bag recently, and so I'm going to link the video down below because in that video I did show my normal everyday items in both of these bags. And so for this video, I'm not going to do that part again. But trust me, I have so much to unpack with these two bags that you won't be bored. And that part you can go see later. First of all, this is the medium large size and this is the medium size. Let's talk about measurements. The Chanel Classic Flap measures 9.9 by 6 by 2.5. And the Caro bag is slightly larger at 10 by 6 by 3. So let's put the bags side to side so you can see what a 1/2 inch difference means in terms of width or depth. You can see there that the Caro bag looks substantially bigger at the bottom and that both bags taper up towards the top. This difference is even more apparent when you look at the bags from the bottom. Lengthwise, the 0.1 inch difference is really not discernible to me. And height-wise, the bags are virtually the same as well. So vintage Chanel bags had 24 karat gold plated hardware, and this bag is not vintage. It is a 13 series, which means it was produced in either 2009 or 2010. It does not have the stamp on the double C turn lock like a bag with the 24 karat gold plated hardware would have. However, I was told by leather surgeons that Chanel did continue to plate their bags in 24 karat gold after the stamp went away, but were no longer able to stamp it because they weren't at a minimum threshold of microns of the plating. When I did send this bag into leather surgeons, they plated it in 24 karat gold for me to a very nice thickness in terms of microns. And so therefore, I think that my bag may be more durable in terms of hardware than other bags that haven't went through this process of additional gold plating. When it comes to the Dior hardware, the Caro bag has an aged finish. And if you look up close, it does have some light scratches and tarnish on it, which is intentional. I did cut a little sticker to put on my turn lock because I noticed using it for a couple of days that I was developing some little dents on that turn lock, and I'm waiting for a complete hardware protector set from Sarah with Cactus Wren Creatives. But in the meantime, I had some leftover bits and pieces from other hardware protector sets where I got extras, and so I was able to find one that fit the vertical turn lock bar pretty well, and I cut it and went ahead and applied it. That's really the only wear and tear I've noticed using this bag for a few days. I do notice that this spot here also gets a few little dings on it, but again, the hardware is antiqued on purpose, so I'm not too worried about getting a little bit of wear and tear on it because it looks like it was meant to be. I haven't used my Chanel Classic Flap enough since it has been plated to really notice any significant wear, but I do know that since it is plated in the 24 karat gold, I should be able to use a polishing cloth that is designed for gold to buff out any scratches. But as of now, it looks pretty amazing in my opinion. I've been using this bag this week a little bit and have been enjoying it, but I don't enjoy using it as much as the Caro bag, and I'll have to show you why. I don't really use the back pocket of either of these bags, although if you were to use the back pocket, definitely the Caro has an advantage, because the pocket goes from side to side of this bag, and the Mona Lisa pocket on the back of the Chanel bag is relatively small. It's not going to fit your phone like you can with the Caro bag, just a couple of receipts perhaps. Both of these bags are in a grained calfskin leather. I wasn't able to find on the website or through Google information the ultimate source of all information to be had, whether these were top grain or full grain type leathers. A top grain leather is one that has been sanded, and a full grain leather is one that has not been sanded. And with these, I do know that the grain in this leather, the texture in this leather is stamped on, and it is very durable. However, if you do get corner wear or something like that, it is hard to fix compared to lambskin because of that grain. However, it is much more resistant to scratching than the lambskin counterpart. Now, I was told when I was at Dior that this particular texture is not stamped in like the Chanel Caviar leather. And by the way, on the Chanel website, the Caviar leather is called grained calfskin, and this leather is called supple leather. And when you Google supple leather, you don't get information about it. Supple is actually considered a characteristic, meaning that it's bendable or pliable. It's not an actual term used to define leather. When I was at Dior, the sales associate told me that this particular leather was not stamped in any way to get the texture it has, but rather that it was processed in a way that was more natural than that. I'm not sure that that is the case. I don't know that I would rely on that bit of information, because to me the texture on it is so uniform that I suspect that it is stamped in, but perhaps it is a full grain leather and not sanded. That would be my guess on this one. I do currently have this bag loaded up. Like I said, the video I did where I unboxed or revealed this bag, I showed what was in this bag and transferred it over to this one. And everything does fit that I normally carry in both bags, with the exception that I do think my cell phone fits in this bag. And also, if I wanted to put some reading glasses or not extra large sunglasses at the top of this bag, I believe I could easily do it. And I might not be able to easily do it with this bag. The loss of depth is a huge reason for that, because the Chanel Classic Flap is 1/2 inch narrower. And the other rate limiting step on the Chanel Classic Flap in terms of space reduction is going to be this double flap. When I'm carrying this bag, I do like to fasten the double flap closed. And by doing that, you are limiting the vertical space of what this bag will hold. But I want to snap it closed so I don't get indentions from this snap on the leather. And so to do that, I cannot pack stuff up as high, because otherwise I would not be able to secure it closed. The other thing is that since this isn't one wide open compartment, it doesn't hold as much for that reason, because there is so much organization in this bag. Not only do you have this zippered pocket up here, but there is a slip pocket behind the flap. And then on the inside, there is a pocket right here. And I'm going to remove the Zoomoni organizer. I love this one. I love that it has 4 slip pockets. That is my absolute favorite configuration for an organizer. But if you look here, there is a pocket here, a pocket there, and a lipstick slot in the middle. This is an Mboutique Australia base shaper. Absolutely love having this to keep the bottom of the bag looking so nice. It really helps also with any sagging that could occur. And my bag did have a slight bit of loss of shape right here, and the base shaper has kept that from getting any worse and improves the look of it when it's inside. But as you can see on the interior of this bag, it is all leather lined. If you look where my hand is on this side, down at the bottom, there is the little sticker. I doubt I'm going to be able to get it to focus, but that sticker does have the serial number of the bag on it. One of the reasons I wanted to get the Zoomoni insert for this bag was because I wanted to protect that sticker on the interior. Those tend to peel off, and if they do, it devalues your Chanel Classic Flap because it makes the authentication of it harder to do. Having this organizer in prevents rubbing of the items I would normally carry up against that particular spot. So for that reason, I really appreciate having this inside. So now I have her all buttoned up, and I've got Zoomoni organizer and the Mboutique Australia base shaper both inside. And since we have discussed the serial code for this bag, let's talk about the code that's inside the Dior bag as well. So unlike Chanel, the Dior Caro bag and other Dior bags do not have serial numbers. They have essentially a date code, which is similar to what Louis Vuitton does. So the date code isn't going to be specific to this particular bag. It has information in it, but there may be other bags out there that have that same code. The Chanel bag originally came with a authenticity card. However, when I bought mine, that card was lost. And that happens a lot of times with older bags or probably even newer ones. Some people just will throw them away. Chanel's no longer doing the authenticity card. They're doing a chip, much like Louis Vuitton. But if you buy an older bag, having that authenticity card makes it worth a little bit more. At the time I purchased this one, it was about a $400 difference to have the card, and I didn't really care that much. I was happy to save the $400. If I had found one for a good deal with the card, of course, I would have been delighted. When I bought this, I want to say it was around 2019. I got it for $3,600. Then I paid about $400 for leather surgeons to coat the hardware in real gold plating and also to clean it up just a little bit and condition it. I do have all of my items inside this bag as well as a Zoomoni insert. The Zoomoni insert for the Caro bag has one long pocket on one side and then two smaller pockets on the other side that are similar in size to the ones in the Classic Flap, although you can insert your card sideways, which I like. So I just went ahead and pulled the insert out because I wanted to show you the organization inside of this bag. You have a long leather pocket on this side, and then you have a long zippered pocket on that side. So it does have organization, just not quite as much because, again, the Classic Flap had a pocket here on the front. It had the zippered pocket up here, and then it had the flap that came over with a pocket behind the flap. So all of that takes up space. One of my lovely subscribers or viewers pointed out that having the weights of the bags is important in terms of comparing. I will tell you that the Dior Caro absolutely empty is 1 pound 11.4 ounces, and the Chanel Classic Flap is 1 pound 6.2 ounces. So keep in mind that the Caro is a little bit bigger, and that may account for part of the 5-ounce difference. Also, the Caro has a longer strap. It's configured differently than the Chanel, and so I'm not sure what exactly besides those two things may contribute to the additional weight of the Caro. It does have a more substantial front plate turn lock than the Chanel Classic Flap for sure. And the other thing that could contribute to some additional weight may be the leather itself. To me, the Caro leather feels like it could be a little thicker, especially on the bottom where the quilting of the Chanel is flat and you still have that canage pattern in the Dior Caro bag. Let me talk to you about how the leather feels. To me, the Chanel Classic Flap feels like it is a little bit more treated in terms of having a coating on top of the leather The finish on the Caro bag feels slightly more matte, and this one feels slightly more slick, but they are almost the same. They feel so similar. The quilting on the Caro bag feels a bit puffier, but I will tell you that since the Chanel Classic Flap is 13 or 14 years old, that may be part of it. Although I do think that the quilting on my Classic Flap is quite nice and not really flattened much at all. So let's get into how you would wear these bags, because the Caro bag has some options, the Chanel bag not so much. The Chanel bag looks fabulous on the shoulder, but when you go to put it on and to take it off, there's a little bit of a clearance issue with my elbow that I have to kind of wiggle to be able to get it on my shoulder easily. So you can wear it as a short shoulder or you can wear it as a long shoulder. Of course, when you make it into a long shoulder, you have less padding on your shoulder because all the weight of the bag is on one chain with leather running through it instead of being distributed amongst two chains. So the most comfortable way to wear it is with the two chain setup. For me, it is too short to wear crossbody, but I suppose I could make it work in a pinch. It is pretty high. You can get the chain extended. Leather Surgeons does offer that service, and they asked me if I wanted to do it when I sent the bag in, and I declined because it does devalue the bag, I believe, quite substantially. I don't know the dollar amount it devalues it by, but it does devalue the bag. And I kind of looked at this bag as an investment, even though handbags aren't meant to be investments. When I bought it, again, I purchased it for $3,600 and then paid Leather Surgeons $400 to replate the hardware and to clean and condition it. So I have $4,000 in this bag, but I have submitted it to Rebag as well as to Fashion File just to see what it would be worth from a consignment type store, and Rebag has indicated that they would buy it out flat for $48.15, and I'm still waiting on Fashion File. I don't plan to sell it, especially after using it for a few days and realizing that I do love this bag, but I am curious as to the value. These are selling on the pre-loved market in conditions similar to this one for $8,500 to $9,500. So my investment of $4,000 about 4 years ago was, I think, a pretty good one. I think I could sell this really quickly through my YouTube platform for at least $7,000 to $8,000, and I would be making quite a profit on it if I chose to do so. However, I don't think I'm going to do that. I think that this is one that should stay in my collection. I have my Dior Caro bag set on the second to longest setting, but you will notice that there are adjustment options available on the Caro bag that are not available on the Classic Flap. On this setting, I have easy clearance with my elbow, so I can put this bag on my shoulder with no issue. And if I were more petite, I could make it even shorter than that. The reason I have it set there, though, is so that when I wear it crossbody, it hits me at a really nice spot. And again, I could lower this just a tiny bit more, not much, or I could raise it up as well. The other super cool thing about the strap on the Dior Caro bag is that it is completely removable. There is a link in the middle of the chain that opens and closes like so. And carrying it, I have not had it come open on either my gray Caro bag or this rust colored one. But when you remove that strap, then you have the ability to hook whatever strap on the top that you might want. And what's cool about that is Dior has a wide assortment of guitar straps that you could pair with these Caro bags. And that's just not an option that the Chanel bag has to be able to do something like that. So for me, the ability to adjust the strap as well as to completely remove it is a huge advantage over the Chanel Classic Flap. I do feel like they should have made the Classic Flap chain just a bit longer so that it would hang a little bit lower when wearing it on the shoulder and give you the option to wear it crossbody. I, of course, could shorten this strap and wear it as a long shoulder bag as well. It is an interesting buckle that opens up by pushing down on this side. And then you can see there is a peg that goes through the grommeted hole, which I love that it's grommeted. But to adjust it, you kind of have to wiggle it through and pull it down. This is the shortest length that this bag will go, and it does make a really nice long shoulder length. I like that you can grab the chain for security and how you have room for your arm above the bag. So that is another way you can wear this bag, and I do like the drop length when it is on the shortest setting. This clasp is much tighter on my gray one. I am able to slide this through much easier than I was on the gray one. And see, I've got it clipped there. I just pull it tight and then snap it in, and then I'm good to go. And it does have a keeper, which I absolutely love. The other thing that's really cool about this strap is that since it has one leather break, you can adjust this long part to wherever you want on your body when you're wearing it crossbody. And that makes it so comfortable because you don't have the chain up against you. Let's compare the chains themselves. If you look here, you'll see that the Dior chain actually has the CD in each link, just like it does on the front of the bag. And then the Chanel has the caviar or grained calfskin, as they're now calling it, leather woven through the gold chain. And for me, it is more comfortable to wear a strap like the Dior strap, which you'll see on your right, than it is to wear a strap with leather woven through it. But the leather woven through it is better than wearing a chain like this all by itself. So let's talk about price. Like I said, I got this for $3,600, put some money into it, so I have about a $4,000 investment in it. And this bag I purchased from the outlet. I think it was slightly below $2,500, maybe it was $2,450, but let's just say it was $2,500. That is about 46% off retail. Now, retail for the Chanel Classic Flap, for the lambskin version of this bag, which is what I was able to find on the website, is $10,200. And the retail price for this bag on the website is $4,600. So that is a humongous difference between these two. And honestly, I prefer the Caro, although I love the Classic Flap. This bag is just more comfortable and more versatile and easier to use. I do think that this may become a new classic for Dior, and if it does, they're going to raise the prices on this bag substantially, just like they've done with the Lady Dior. If you look at the flat bags Dior has had in the past, I don't think that they are nearly as aesthetically pleasing as the Caro bag. It just has a look that I think will stand the test of time. I love the canage quilting, and I'm not saying I don't love the diamond quilting on the Chanel bag, but if I had to pick a favorite quilting style, the canage would win. I just think it is gorgeous. The other thing is the relatively big logo on the Caro bag. Some people may not like logos like this, but I feel like this does not look like a designer logo because it is so discreet in comparison to, let's say, a Gucci bag, which is very obvious that it is a GG. This is not so obvious that it is a CD because of the way it sort of runs together. The Chanel Classic Flap CC is very recognizable. If you wanted to go more discreet with Chanel, you would go with one of their reissues, which just has like a turn bar closure. But the Chanel CC is much, much smaller than the CD on the Dior bag. And so even though it is more recognizable because the CCs are clearly CCs, it's also not quite as in your face in terms of the shiny, large gold hardware. So when it comes down to it, which one do you like the best? the Chanel Classic Flap does hold its value much, much better on the resale market, which means you can pick up a Caro for quite a deal. They had gray ones just like mine as part of the recent Fashion Files sale. Those bags were in excellent condition and the price got down to a hair over $3,000, which is a fraction of the $8,500 to $9,500 you would pay for this bag. So which do you think is worth it? How important is it to you to have a bag that has great resale value versus a bag that might be more functional and, in my opinion, is at minimum equally as beautiful? You'll have to tell me down in the comments your opinions. I'm dying to know. Anyhow, for now, these are both here to stay. I will update you when I find out from Fashion File what they think this bag is worth to buy from me. But again, I don't plan on selling it. It was just sort of a research type thing to see what they would say in terms of a quote. Now, if they offered me $9,000, I might have to think real hard about it, but let's be honest, that's not gonna happen. So anyway, if you like this video, please give me a big thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, what are you waiting for? Do it and ring the notification bell so that you are notified of future exciting content such as this. Also, go find me on Instagram. The name there is the same. It's the @ then the Handbag Housewife, all lowercase. You can DM me there or you can email me at thehandbaghousewife@gmail.com. If I don't hear from you, I will see you again real soon. Take care and have a fabulous day. Bye.